All right, guys, it's a little dark out here, but wanted to show you kind of what's going on. This is a 2017 Ford Fusion Sport. Normally, the cluster that comes in here has got two 4-inch screens on either side. This is actually an upgraded cluster out of a Lincoln MKZ, also known, the Fusion line, also known in Europe as the Mondeo, which actually has this option in their Highline model for this cluster, which is kind of what makes this whole thing work. So kind of a quick function overview. Left-hand side, you got the speedometer. Car is running right now, so you see the revs do work with it. I'm sitting still, parked, so no speed on there. As far as left-hand side goes, you get 2 trip meters on there, miles per gallon and time on it. You also have fuel economy. I've done a couple changes on here. You got the fuel economy and the fuel history. Fuel history is not normally on there. Driver assist settings, that's where your traction control, it's also where the all-wheel drive comes into now. So the all-wheel drive does work on this since it is an all-wheel drive vehicle. It's a 2017 model. Rear park aid and the tire monitor, the tire pressure settings are also in here now. As far as the actual settings goes, for the most part, it's going to be the same as what the 4-inch displays show. So I won't go too much into that. But you can also make it disappear completely. And then that brings us kind of to the center display. You'll see the outside temperature, the direction, heading, and the mileage. It is nighttime right now. My lights are on. I can turn off the fog lights. You see the lights turn off there. I can turn off the lights. You see the lights completely turn off. So they also just got a little brighter since we're out of that mode. I'll go ahead and leave them off so you get a little brighter display. The center section here, you got the speedometer kind of in the middle. You see the brake above that. I can turn the brake off. That's the parking brake. Tells me the parking brake is off. Put it back on. Tells me parking brake is on. So display message automatically disappears. Temperature gauge on the bottom left, that is digital. It is in the screen. Same thing with the fuel gauge on the right-hand side. 83 miles to empty. This is the first tank I've put through this new cluster. So it's actually a little bit off. I don't expect to have more than about another 40 or 50 miles at it. When I started, it showed like 400 something. So it's getting considerably closer to what's actually accurate. Onto the center display. Speedometer is what I've currently got it on. There's a few options. You got the entertainment option, which the audio goes off right now, so there's no copyright infringement, any kind of issues with that. But normally it'll tell you the same stuff that the 4-inch would tell you on the right side display. Whatever song's playing, whatever stereo station that you're on, if it's in HD. Down to the compass, this is always on. Some of the guys actually enabled navigation on non-nav systems. Mine is non-nav, by the way. To get the compass, it is on here by default, so you don't have to do that. Phone, I'm not going to click into it because it's going to show the info on my phone, but it works just the same way. Then speedometer. And again, with the other one, you can press the left arrow. That will disappear. When it does disappear, you actually, I don't know if you saw that or not, see if I can get the transition again. If you look at the gauges, it actually outlines the gauges when there's nothing else around there. It gives it a different graphic, which is kind of cool. So, but the park, reverse, neutral drive, those are all digital as well, so that's actually printed on the screen. It's the LCD. And the sport mode, which is pretty cool. When you press the sport mode, it gives you these 2 little red rings and a cool little sport mode on there. Whenever you have the center console up with the speedometer, it kind of changes a little bit, but for the most part it still stays the same. If I bring back the trip settings over here, this is kind of how I normally have it. So you'll see the sports kind of right above where the trip info is. And the red rings actually kind of follow everything that's on there. So put it back in park. That's pretty much it for now. I will be posting a thread shortly on everything that you need to do this. And it's not a cheap project, but it's not overly expensive. The most expensive part of it is actually trying to get the front lens, which is the clear part that you see through that's got the black mask that actually goes around the gauges. You got to get that from a European model that fits the Fusion. The one from the MKZ will fit physically in the location, but the actual mask that's on there does not fit correctly to the car. So technically you could get away without it, but it would look kind of goofy. So yeah, more to come. I'll post some links down there whenever I get them. And well, apparently my dash cam wants to go in parking mode. So that's going to finish up the video. You guys have any questions, post in the comments, and leave a like if you liked it.